Thank you very much. I am Dr. Annette Juan Hernandez. I am the Academic Program Director for the Educational Studies program, and I'm also a Clinical Associate Professor in the Department of Education, Teaching and Learning in Education in our School of Ed. So it is a pleasure to have you. I want to go ahead and get started right in. I know we're a few minutes over, and if I want to be conscious of your time. So if other students join us, we'll keep an eye on the waiting room and we'll just catch them up as they arrive.
Okay.
Excellent. This is the Educational Studies information session where you'll learn all of the requirements of the program. And there'll be time at the end for you to ask any questions that you might have.
Got it.
Leticia, would you like to introduce yourself or say a few words?
Sure. Hi, my name is Leticia Estrada. I work in the graduate admissions office. I am the graduate program recruiter. So we handle all things admission and the process of the application.
Awesome. Thank you. All
Sure,
right.
thank
Welcome,
you.
Erica. Oh, were you saying something, Leticia?
Oh no, I just said thank you.
Awesome. And welcome, Erica, to our session. We're just about to get started. Okay, so a few things I thought we could talk about is really briefly why LMU School of Ed is really the place you want to be. Then we'll go into some program specifics. I'll go over the graduate application information if you do choose to apply, and then we'll share contact information and ask any questions or answer any questions that either of you might have. So really briefly, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the School of Education's conceptual framework known as REAL. And this is really what we in the School of Ed aspire to help promote, help train, and really just provide you the professional development to be an educator who aspires to be real, which means to respect and value all individuals, to educate by integrating the theory you're going to learn with the practice that you engage in the field, to really be a true advocate for access to a socially just education, and to really lead in order to facilitate transformation. And when we use the word lead, we really mean that in as loose a way as possible. That doesn't mean that you're becoming a school administrator, the actual leader of a school. But we really mean that in terms of transforming lives, being a change agent from whatever chair and or role you sit in your organization, at your school site, wherever that might be. We really expect and want everyone to be a leader to transform change in the field of education. I provided some rankings just so that you understand why we're so proud of these numbers that, get ranked in different areas. So we are the first school of education in the state of California to receive national accreditation from CAPE, and you'll learn that education, we love acronyms. So CAPE stands for the Council for the Accreditation of Educator Preparation. And currently we are one of only 2 schools in the entire of education in the entire state of California with this national accreditation. So that's something that we're incredibly proud of. We're also ranked nationally as the 2nd Jesuit School of Education. In the state of California, we're 2nd amongst all private schools of education, just behind Stanford. And additionally, we are ranked number 8th amongst the top 10 of all schools of education in California. Lastly, we are ranked 71st, or in the top 5% of all schools of ed in the country. And these I know are just seemingly random numbers, and you might wonder why these matter or why they're important. So just to give you some context, there are close to about 5,300 colleges and universities in the US. Of those, 1,200 have a school or college of education that offers a teacher preparation program or educator preparation. That's a lot of schools of ed. So to be distinguished as one of the top is really what helps us feel like we stand apart and why we support our candidates as well as we do. We're a fairly new school of ed, so to have such high ranks out of 1,200 national schools of ed and colleges of ed is something that we're really, really proud of. Okay. So now on to the program. The Educational Studies program is a 2-year hybrid program. Hybrid meaning that some of your courses will be online, some of them will be in person. For the online courses, some of them will be synchronous, where you have to log on a particular day and time. Others might be asynchronous, where you do the course on your own, at your own pace, with certain deliverables due on certain days, but you log on and engage in the course at your convenience. The program is 30 units. It does offer maximum flexibility in that you can choose to take courses on the particular days and times in which they're offered. We do have small class sizes. I believe our ratio is 14 or 15 to 1. Courses will be centered on your particular goals and objectives. And with that comes opportunity. You can take courses offered across departments in the School of Ed and or in our entire university. So you can take up to 2 courses outside of the School of Ed if you have a particular interest, say in business, or I know we've had a few students who have a passion for film and television, and or they're looking to develop educational programming. So they'll take 2 courses in the School of Film and Television. So you do have the option to do that. This does need to be done in consultation with our academic advisor, because not all courses across our campus are open to any student in any program. So you would just want to consult and make sure that what you're hoping to take is something available for you to take. It's important to know that the teaching credential is not required for this program, nor are you going to earn the teaching credential by completing this program. So this program is a Master of Arts only program. If you're looking to earn a teaching credential, you'd want to look into one of our different credential seeking programs. So just want to make sure that everyone understands that this program in particular won't require a teaching credential, but also is not going to earn you a teaching credential. You will have a dedicated academic advisor. She has worked at LMU for, oh my goodness, I want to say 20 to 25 years. So she definitely knows the program and she knows how to advise it beautifully. I forgot to mention, I'm going into my 18th year at LMU, and I am a twice alum. So I was sharing with Leticia earlier, I really got a lot out of my programs and my faculty and my advisors and staff when I was here. So I really thought that coming back and paying it forward and helping lead some of these programs and work with students was really something I wanted to do. So it's something I'm really proud of as well. But your advisor is amazing. The program is designed around full-time working professionals. So if you have a full-time job, not to worry. Courses are offered in the evenings, Mondays through Thursdays. You can take either a course from 4 to 7 p.m. or you take a class from 7:30 to about 10 p.m. So offered in the evenings so that you can still maintain your full-time position if that's something you would like to do. We offer courses in fall and spring terms. And then in the summer, we have 2 distinct summer terms in which we offer courses at 6 weeks each. So in the fall and spring, those are 16-week semesters. You only take class 1 night a week. If you do take one of the summer terms, those are only 6 weeks each. So then classes meet twice a week in the summer. So you'll be there on a Monday, Wednesday, or you're going to come on a Tuesday, Thursday. But the good news is you have a lot of options in terms of when you can take your coursework. So drilling down into the program a bit more specifically, it's 30 units, as I mentioned. There are 5 required courses that everyone has to take. So those first 4 that you see up at the top, those are called our core courses. which everyone in our educational studies program will have to complete over the course of the 2-year program. Then you will take 5 elective courses. Each will be 3 units, and those are chosen from within and across the 3 School of Ed departments, which I've identified there, and or like I mentioned earlier, 2 of those 5 classes you can take in a different school or college across our campus. And they don't both have to be in the same school or college. You could take 1 class in business and you could take 1 class in film, for example, to keep with the examples I provided earlier. So you have the 4 core, then you have the 5 elective classes, and then your final class, rounding out to 10 total courses, is the capstone project, where you will identify a research study that you want to complete, pulling from all of the different courses that you've taken. You'll design a research project and you'll conduct that as an action research project. And you'll develop a paper that becomes your capstone project. So that class is taken typically at the very end of the 2 years. You might be taking one other class along with that, but the capstone is something you take at the very end. Everything else leading up to the capstone, you again have the flexibility to take courses when they're offered, or if you want to do them in a particular order, as long as they're on the schedule, you can design your timeline and coursework in collaboration with your advisor in terms of whatever fits your schedule best. Elective courses, a lot of times students have questions as to what might be some options that you could explore. These are some areas across our 3 departments in which there are a magnitude of courses that you could opt to take. You could focus all your electives in one of these particular areas, or if a few of them sound interesting to you, you can take a couple classes within each of these areas. You can also decide to explore a course within each of these areas and take 5 distinct elective courses across 5 different areas of focus. As I mentioned, it is a very flexible program, and you will align the courses you opt to take with what your goals and objectives are post-program. And if you're unsure, when we meet for your interview, we can talk about it then and discuss what might be your best course of action, and or you can discuss that with your advisor when you meet to discuss what to register for. So nothing you have to have decided right now. A lot of students like to see the options they have in course titles across each of these areas of focus to make those decisions. Okay, so that's the nuts and bolts of the actual program. Now, how do you apply to the program? We have 3 application deadlines. Spring, unless someone's looking for spring 25, that deadline is November 15th. If anyone is looking to apply for the summer, and you can apply for either of the summer sessions, so you can start in summer 1, or you can start the program in summer 2. Both of those application deadlines are March 15th. And then if you're looking to start in the fall semester, the application deadline for that is June 15th. And what I want to share is we have these application deadlines as a way to have a particular date to tell students by which we hope their applications are in. But if life happens, or you thought you wanted to apply for the summer, but you're really not going to start until the fall, and it's April or it's July, and you didn't submit your application, or you started it, but it's not complete, just let me know. Just let our admissions office know. We will work with you. I don't want anyone to think these are hard drop-dead deadlines, and if you miss it, you have to wait. You don't have to wait. You can just let us know. We'll work a new date with you. We'll figure out when you think you can get it in, and we'll support you along the way. There we go. Okay, part of the application, you will have to submit a graduate application. You'll do that via Slate. It's a system that everyone uses to apply. There is a $50 application fee. You will be expected to provide 2 letters of recommendation. And what will happen is when you're completing your application, you will be asked for 2 names of 2 individuals and their email addresses that you would want to submit a letter of recommendation on your behalf. They will automatically, once you click submit on their names, they will automatically receive a message from the system saying that you are asking for a letter of recommendation for them because you're applying to this program. So it would be a good idea to make sure that you've let them know that you're doing this and that you're submitting their name as a recommender so that they know to expect that email, and that you'll be wanting a letter of recommendation on your behalf. There is a statement of intent, and the application, once you select this program to apply for, it will provide you with the prompt and the questions that you will need to answer for this statement of intent. 3 to 4 pages max, double spaced, is the expectation. And then again, you'll answer the prompt provided. We do ask for a current resume, so you'll upload one of those. We will need official transcripts from every college and or university that you have attended since earning your bachelor's degree. So if bachelor's degree has been conferred, then we would just need your bachelor's degree where that was conferred. And then if you've attended any schooling since then, you'll want to submit those transcripts for review as well. You can do a hard copy mail delivery, but to be honest, the easiest thing to do is to submit electronically. And sometimes your institutions will deliver it automatically. So that's the easiest way to go about that. This is an overview of the process from beginning to end. So assuming we have some summer and fall starters here, you'll submit your application by March 15th. Again, not a drop dead deadline, or June 15th. Graduate division receives that. Our School of Ed admissions team will then review it. They make sure that your application is complete. And once everything is there, then they then submit it to me as the director in the department to review the application. We will schedule an interview for you to meet with me one-on-one. I ask you some questions. We talk about the program. I answer any specific questions you might have. After your interview, there is a decision made on your application. You're hopefully admitted. And then once you're admitted, you start meeting with your academic advisor and you start working out your particular curriculum plans in terms of when and what you'll start taking. And you can start mapping out your 2 years. Sometimes you don't get too far out because depending on the classes you want to take, they might only be offered in certain semesters. So you'd want to wait to plan too far out. But you can definitely start discussing long-term plans when you meet with your academic advisor. There is my contact information. If by any chance you start processing this information and once we've left the session today, questions do arise, please feel free to email me. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have. If you have specific questions about the application process or how to find certain information or upload your transcripts, you will want to direct those specific questions to our SOE admissions team. I've included their information there. So anything specific to the program, the curriculum, the areas of focus, you'll direct to me. Anything specific to the application or anything regarding the application will go to our admissions office. And if you care to follow us on social media, you can access those via that QR code that's there on the side. And I think, yep, I laid a lot of information on you. Now it's your turn to ask me any questions that you might have. And I'll go ahead and I think that's it. Well, actually, before that, there is a financial aid session. So let me cover this really quickly in case I forget to later. Really important, if you can make the financial aid session, please do attend that. I believe there's also career and professional development hosting a session. And then again, if either of you are an international student, there will be a panel on Tuesday, tomorrow. I make that sound like it's so far away, from 7 to 7:30. So great. Thank you for joining. All right, now let's answer any questions you all might